Hello everyone, welcome to another iRacing video, and after last week's enjoyable outing in the BMW GT4, we're going to be stepping back up to the GT3 class this week. It's a return to the Ferrari Fixed challenge, this week racing at Watkins Glen. Now, qualifying for this one has gone reasonably well, and we're going to be starting on the third row of the grid. Our time there, 1:10.5, is good enough for 5th position. But look how close it is in there. The two drivers directly behind me are both within 0.06 of a second, and in fact, there's only 0.4 of a second between myself in 5th and the driver in 12th. So that means that the racing is going to be incredibly close here on the short circuit at Watkins Glen. One mistake is likely going to cost us a lot of positions, so it's going to be vital to keep things consistent. We're approaching the end of the formation lap, so let's see how we get on.
About to go green, stay focused. Those cars off, time to do your job. Green, green, green.
And it looks like the front two have both got the space to get over onto that racing line. We've not got that luxury though, because we've got a driver alongside us. We're going to have to take the inside line into T1. In fact, we're 3 wide, but we've got through there okay. There's no contact. There is a big runoff area at T1, and iRacing is quite lenient with the track limits, and it looked like a few drivers may have taken it, but we're going up through the S's for the first time. I think we're down to 6. We've certainly lost one position, but we're looking okay here. Our line through the S's certainly wasn't the best, and it's lost us a bit of ground on that front 5, and we may come under attack coming into the inner loop. Christian snap behind certainly had a look, but he thought better of it, as did Paul Filipovic in front. He had a look at Ted Blank to try and take 4th, but again, he thought better of it too. So we're maintaining our 6th position as we round the outer loop and begin the charge up to the final 2 turns of what is a very fast and very quick lap here at Watkins Glen. And as we end the first lap, we have opened up a little bit of a gap over Christoph Schnapp in 7th. It's half a second, so it's not a lot, but it is a little bit of breathing room as we hit T1. And we're going to run it out a little bit wide on exit, taking full advantage of those lenient track limits in iRacing. Meanwhile, in front, it looks like Filipovic is going to have another look at Ted Blank. He's trying to pull alongside him. We saw him try and make the move into the inner loop on the first lap. He's thought better of it again. He's going to tug back into the slipstream. Is he going to have another sniff up the inside? Yes, he is, but again, he backs out of it. Those 3 cars are so close together now. I think there's half a second separating 3rd from 5th, and we're just about hanging on to the back of them at the moment. And as we round the outer loop, we've got Crackness in 3rd, but he's being harassed by Ted Blank in 4th. Blank is right on his tail now. Is he going to have a look up the inside into the penultimate turn? We can see Filipovic right behind them in 5th. He's ready to pounce if anything goes wrong, but no, it looks like Blank is happy just to sit behind Crackness for the minute. And as we end lap 2, there's still less than a second between the 3 of them, and we're working as hard as we can just to stick with them here. The gap is 0.8 of a second to Filipovic in 5th. Meanwhile, behind, we've still not managed to shake off Schnapp. He's 0.4 of a second behind, so we can expect a challenge from him very soon. He's clearly got some good pace. He did go out really wide in T1 there. That might have helped us out. It certainly cost him a lot of exit speed as he came out of the corner, and now he's got Oscar Garza for company. In fact, he's lost a position to Garza. And what was a 0.4 of a second gap just a couple of corners ago, it's now more than a second. Oh, it's so easy to make a mistake through that inner loop. All you need to do is just clip the grass and you'll be sent off into the barrier. We spoke earlier about the lenient track limits at T1, but they're certainly not lenient there. All you need is the slightest off track and you'll be picking up incident points. And oh, we might just have missed the apex into the penultimate turn, carrying a bit too much speed, and no sooner do I mention off tracks, we've had a big one there. We've managed to hold on to the position, but Garza's right behind now, and in fact he's got a much better drive out of the final turn. He's pulled alongside us now as we start lap 4. He's going to have the inside line into T1, so there's nothing I can do but try a late apex and try the switch back to charge up the inside. He's running a bit wide on exit, but he's got the speed. However, we can tug into his slipstream as we charge up through the S's, and we might be able to get a draft. We might get a toe to pull alongside him on the approach to the inner loop. Which way is he going to go? Is he going to defend? No, he's going to go for the racing line. So have we got the pace to snatch that 6th position back straight away? We're side by side on the approach to the inner loop, and no, I just felt that I wasn't quite far enough alongside him to warrant a dive into that section, so I did just ease off a little bit sooner. But we've lost that 6th position, and I've got no one to blame but myself. It was a sloppy mistake at the end of the last lap. Well, I said before the race started that even the slightest mistake can cost us lots of positions. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. We did only lose 1 spot, but let's go back and check out the replay of what went down on those first couple of laps. This is T1, and as you can see, really busy into that first corner, but the wide runoff area ensures everyone gets through safely. We then spent the next couple of laps being chased by Christian Schnapp in that Diet Coke liveried Ferrari until turn 1 on lap 3 when he ran really wide on exit, clips a bit of the grass on this rejoin. That costs him a lot of time, and then he's got company from the car behind. And that gave me a second's worth of breathing room, but sadly it didn't last because at the end of the lap I made a really careless mistake, carrying too much speed into that corner right out onto the grass, and actually I was really lucky not to lose control there. These Ferraris are notoriously difficult to keep straight when you get out onto the green stuff. And that error also allowed Oscar Garza to pull alongside me and then pass me on the start-finish straight. I tried to return the favour on the approach to the inner loop, but I just didn't quite have the speed to get the job done before we went into that section, so I backed out and had to surrender 6th position. So we're starting lap 5, and the big question is, have we got the pace to stick with Oscar Garza? Since trying that move on the inner loop on the previous lap, we've not been able to get back close enough to consider another one. That gap is half a second now. Garza is beginning to creep away. But on a more positive note, the gap to Schnapp behind is up to 1.5 seconds now, and he's got company with some other drivers, and in fact I think there was a big incident at the bottom of the S's there. I saw a huge cloud of smoke, and yeah, look at the gap on the leaderboard. They're all 3.5 seconds behind now, so there's been a big incident, and we've now got Kiefer Vayner in 8th position. He crossed the line in 12th, so he's gained 4 places in that melee. We'll go back and check out a replay shortly, but for now let's stick with this because we're right on Garza's tail, but we just can't hit the apex on the outer loop, and the advantage has gone back to Garza. So what on earth happened at the bottom of the S's on that lap? Let's go back and check out the replay. We're watching Schnapp in the Diet Coke car. He takes another wide line through T1. I thought for a moment he was going to clip Taylor Copland next to him, but in fact, it's contact with the number 2 car making a move up the inside. That's Raphael Jacot. And now we've got Ferraris going everywhere. It's bedlam, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4 cars involved. Let's watch it again from the chopper cam and keep your eye on Jacot. He's at the back of this trio at the moment, but he's going to get the much better drive out of T1. He's already passed Taylor Copland, and now he's going to make a move up the inside, but there's just not room. Schnapp tries to close the door. There's big contact. Roman Elvis tries to get around the outside of Schnapp. He gets collected too and rammed into the barrier, and it's a real mess. As we watch it one last time, focusing on the number 9 car of Taylor Copland. He thought he'd got away with it going out onto the grass, but then he hits a big bump. There's no way of controlling his Ferrari, and he careers into the melee as well. 4 cars out of the race, and a bit of breathing room for me. Rejoining the live action a lap later now, and as you can see ahead, Garza is just beginning to creep away. He's opened up an advantage of around a second. Behind us, we've still got Vayner in 8th. However, he's 4 seconds adrift, so he's been unable to bridge that gap over the previous lap. So that means we're under no pressure from behind. Instead, we can focus on what's going on in front of us, and actually we're going to get a position back. Look to the right of your screen. There's a car parked up by the pit lane, and it's none other than the race leader. Yo Pereira is out of the race. What's happened there? Well, let's check out the replay and we can see what a commanding lead Pereira had, but he's just going to run it out a little bit wide on that penultimate turn, clips the grass, and we said earlier how dangerous it is to do that. He's rammed into the barrier and clearly picked up a lot of damage. He's tried to rejoin but realised that the car's not playing ball and has decided to park it up. In fact, I think he might have hastily decided to get back into pit lane. Yes, he is. He's going to reverse and go in to get those repairs fixed. The next few laps were pretty lonely for me because, as you can see from the clear track ahead, I wasn't able to keep up with Gaza. He's opened up an advantage of nearly 5 seconds over me now. However, we're going to rejoin the live action at the start of lap 11 because there's a titanic battle emerging for the lead out front. So we're going to switch on the TV cam, keep one eye on what's happening at the front of this race while trying to keep within striking distance just in case anything goes wrong in this 4-car battle. We're watching the driver in second, Jürgen Kragnes, and he's chasing the race leader, William Visser. And as they climb the hill to emerge from the S's, it looks like Kragnes has got the drive on Visser. Is he going to try for a move? Visser defends on the inside, so Kragnes is going to move to the outside. Is he going to run it around the outside into the inner loop? It takes a brave man to do that. He's run onto the grass. That's messed up his line. Visser's been able to bite right back. He's regained the lead, and now Ted Blank is going to pounce as well. He's running around the outside of the outer loop. Kragnes has got the tighter inside line, but he hasn't got the pace, and Blank makes the pass. He's up to second. Kragnes is down to third. Meanwhile, I'm about 5 or 6 seconds away from all the goings on up ahead. I really want to be a part of it, but I'm just not quick enough to catch these guys. But the longer they beat each other up, it may give me an opportunity, and we've lost. Kragnes, he spun out at the final turn, and he's into the tyre wall. Can we get around him before he rejoins? The yellow flags are out. There he is on the left, and yes, we've got the drive. We'll run it up the inside, give him a lot of space to rejoin, but we've got the power to surge past him, and we're up to 5th place as we start lap 12. Well, we know that Kragnes is about a second a lap faster than us, so have we got a big enough advantage to hold on to this 5th place until the end of the race? Only time will tell. Let's check out the replay, and what a disastrous lap it was for Kragnes. This was at the start of the lap when he was actually challenging for the lead. Visser's defended really aggressively there. He's hardly leaving Kragnes any room. In fact, there's a bit of contact, and Kragnes runs onto the grass. Then he runs onto the grass again on the inside of the inner loop. That compromises his line, and not only does he lose the challenge for the lead, but he also loses 2nd place because Ted Blank pounces around the outside. Now, earlier in the race, we saw the leader come to grief here. This time it's Kragnes' turn, and he doesn't run onto the grass here, but instead just drifts out a little wide. There's the contact with the green stuff. It loses the rear, and he slides into the tyre wall. And it's that contact with the barrier that just leaves his car facing in the wrong direction, and that's what gives me the opportunity to get past. So we're just about to start the final lap, and we're actually looking pretty good for a top 5 finish now, because look at Granger's behind. He's 1.6 seconds back. He's been unable to catch me up, and I'm guessing he might have picked up a little bit of damage from that excursion into the tyre wall. The white flag is out, so this will be the last lap, and as you can see, we've switched the TV cam back on, and that's because the battle for the lead is now more intense than ever. William Visser is still out in front at the moment, but he's got Ted Blank all over that rear bumper. Paul Filipovic is still within striking distance in 3rd, but for now it's all about the front 2 as we see Blank try and move around the outside as they charge towards the inner loop. Visser's still got about a car length's advantage, and that's going to be enough to get into the inner loop first, so he's holding on to the lead at the moment, but look how close Filipovic now is as well. It's become a 3-way battle for the lead with less than half a lap to go, and all of them are separated by less than a second. Visser's still out in front, Ted Blank in 2nd, Filipovic 3rd. There's 2 corners left, and if Visser can just hit the apex and take the race in line, he should have this, because Blank's a good couple of tenths behind. They're into the penultimate turn. Ted Blank's going to make a move for it, and they touch. There's contact, and they're both out on the very last turn. Filipovic is going to win this race, and Garza's going to take 2nd. And can we get around to take the final podium position? No, it looks like Visser's been able to rejoin and get that car across the line to take 3rd, so we're going to have to settle for 4th, but what a dramatic conclusion to this race.
All right, there's the checkered flag.
Well, at this point, I thought Visser had it. He's got a good few car lengths advantage, but watch Ted Blankett's a win it or bin it move into the final turn, and unfortunately for both of them, it ended up being a bin it. Blank was never able to get fully alongside Visser. He stuck his nose up the inside to try and make the pass, but Visser wanted to defend it. There's contact and they both spin off. Visser in particular, I'm sure, is incredibly frustrated. He's had a race win taken away on the very last corner, but he did manage to get that car back onto the track and rejoin to take the final podium position. So there we see the classified results. Visser in third and an unlikely winner in Paul Filipovic. I'm more than happy to take fourth place, particularly when you look at the lap times of all the drivers around me. I was a fair bit slower than the three guys in front and a second a lap slower than Kragner's behind me. So I think I was right in suggesting that he might have had damage on those last couple of laps because he wasn't able to catch up with me. But what a race. We saw some cracking battles for the lead, and although the ultimate battle ended in disaster at this very corner, it made for some enthralling viewing. Thanks for watching, everyone, and remember to leave a like if you've enjoyed the video. Cheers for now.